On African motives. Today I'm welcoming you with live orientation grade 10, term 1 notes. I'm welcoming you with live orientation grade 10, term 1 notes. So we are going to be on chapter 3. We are going to be chapter 3, careers and career choices. That's that's the business of today. So now let us go to self-knowledge for career choices. So it says self-knowledge for career choices. So when you talk of self-knowledge for career choices, it simply says before you choose career, you must understand yourself. Before you choose a career, you must understand yourself. That is why I said self-knowledge for career choices. And this includes this step 1 where it says know your interest, abilities, talents, strengths, as well as weaknesses. So when you talk about interest and the concept, because you're going to have these concepts, uh, interest, abilities, talents, strengths, as well as weakness, and the explanation of them. So now we are talking about interest. It says it's all about what you like to spend your time doing. What do you want to learn more about? These are your interests. Also, you can say, what do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy doing? What topics or activities you like learning about? What topics you like learning about? That's what I'm talking about. What? The interest. Example, you enjoy fixing gadgets. You may enjoy engineering or mechanics. So that is that. That is your interest. Now we come to the talents now. Talents. They are saying natural abilities you were born with. That's what I'm talking about. Talents. Things you can, not things, but when you're talking about, so we're supposed to talk about abilities. So abilities, the things you can do well, the skills you possess. That's abilities. Things you can do well. Skills you have already, skills you already have. For example, you can explain things clearly. You have a communication ability. That is your ability. That is why we are saying those are things you can do well. The skills you possess. Hope we understand the people. Now coming to strengths. These are natural abilities you were born with. Natural abilities you were born with. For example, you naturally draw well, artistic talent. You see, you naturally draw, you're good at drawing. This is the ability that you were born with. It's your talent, you're good at drawing. Now coming to strengths, the things that you always good at. The things that you are always good at. Things, meaning we're talking about things you are constantly good at. So, for example, you stay calm in stressful situations, strength in emotional control. That is your strength. You stay calm in a stressful situation. So, that strength, it means you have what is strength in emotional control. Strength in emotional control. Coming to weakness, these are things you struggle with, not good at. So, example, you easily lose focus. That is weakness in concentration. Hope you understand. So now let us move on to personality type A, personality type trait, that is B, and C, career group and interest. So we're going to start with personality type A, where we're going to talk about realistic. Where we're going to talk about realistic personality type. So the traits, the personality traits there, that is where now we're going to talk about natural, practical, honest, modest, shy, perseverance, practical, steadfast. That is that. So with this personality type, realistic, that's where we're going to the preferred activities under a realistic type. It's like activities like working with hands, tools, machines, equipment, making, fixing, repairing things, working outdoors, caring for plants or animals. Those are activities that are mostly in personality type A, which is realistic. So, as we've heard that when you talk of such type, that you're not talking about natural, open, honest, modest, shy, perseverance, practical, and steadfast. So those are the traits. These are the traits of this personality type, realistic. Now we come to the career examples of careers that falls under um, this realistic. That usually come to career group and interest. That is C. So the examples of careers is that those are carpenters, bricklayers, mechanic, plumber, electrician, welder, builder, farmer, miner. We can talk of bus driver or truck driver, machine operators. Those are the career examples of careers. So here we're talking about career group and interest. Like they say, prefer like to work with your hands, tools, and machinery. Make or repair articles or look after plants and animals. Like outdoor work, inclusive such as cooking, bleaching clothes, cutting hair, repairing, installing office, home equipment, growing and breeding and caring for animals or plants, construction, maintenance of roads, pipelines, buildings, and etc. Operation of heavy vehicles and machinery like bulldozers, forklifts, trucks, buses, manufacture, repair, service machinery, electrical tools, engineering, such as building bridges, designing aircraft, surveying, or writing computer programs. Like I've said, when we talk of this personality type A, when it comes to activities, those are people who are working with hands, tools, machines, fixing, repairing things, working outdoors, caring for plants or animals, like I've said. And we've said the career under this personality type are carpenters, bus driver, trophy maker, machine god, and all and etc. So that is that. Let us move on to investigative. Let us move on to investigative personality type because this one was realistic. So now we come to investigate personality type. So with investigative, we are going to talk about the traits of this investigative, which are careful, critical, inquisitive, independent, systematic, modest, precise, as well as reserved. So now what are the preferred activities under this type? Is that they do what? They research and experiment, discovering new facts, solving problems using science, working alone in a quiet environment, analyzing information. That is a investigative type of person. They investigate, they do research, they always want to experiment, they always want to discover the facts, solve problems, and etc. Like it says, prefer to work on their own in research environment. To investigate and discover new facts, conduct experiments, observe with scientific equipment to find solutions and analytical and mental activities, and the problem solving and application of, of knowledge. So we can talk about examples of careers under this type. We can talk about a pharmacist, medical doctor, dentist. We can also talk about engineering, technologist, IT specialist, mathematician, statistician, geologist, biologist, as well as chemist. They fall under this type of person, investigative. Hope we are together. So that is that. So now let us move on to artistic. Artistic. So with artistic, we can see the traits are complicated, confused, sensitive, impressive, impractical. So they are the traits we are talking about. They are very sensitive, expressive, independent, impulsive, complicated. That's what we're talking about what? The traits or characteristics of the artistic. So examples of careers under this type is that they are actors. The careers are actor, singer, musician, photographer, writer, poet, fashion designer, architect. That is that. As it is, they enjoy to work in an artistic environment, which includes writing stories, plays, acting, stage, applied arts, of which language is the main component. TV presenter, writing articles, translating stories, visual arts, teaching, drawing, photographer, designing furniture, builds clothes, as well as popular entertainment and playing in event or singer. So that is that. So let's move on. To social. Let us move on to social now. So with social, we are as well going to talk about the traits of this type. We're going to talk about the traits under a social personality type. So the traits there is convincing, cooperative, friendly, helpful, being kind, sociable, tactful, as well as understanding. Those are the traits. You are friendly, helpful, understanding, you are being cooperative, social, sociable, tactful, and convincing, and as well as kind. So, what are the examples of the careers of this social personality type? Is that we're talking about teachers. Teachers are all, we know teachers are very cooperative. Teachers are very tactful. They are very kind. They are friendly. That is that. Teachers, training officers, coach, social worker, the counselors, nurse, occupational therapist, hairdresser, librarian. So these are the careers that fall under social. So that is that. They are saying work and communicate with people, help and take care of others, teach them, rendering personal and household services, easy housekeeping, cleaning service, saving people, restaurant, aircraft as well trains, law enforcement and protection of persons and property. So this is what a social type. Now we come to the enterprising. Enterprising. So with enterprising personality type, we're going to talk about the traits that falls under this. We talk of adventurous, ambitious, demands attention, domineering, energetic, optimistic, self-confident, as well as popular. So the enterprising personality type must be ambitious, confident, energetic, also popular, optimistic, persuasive. But what are the private activities under this type? Is that they like leading people, influencing and motivating, selling, starting or managing business, making decisions. Those are private activities under the enterprising personality type. As it says, prefers for activities through which they can influence, like I've said, persuade, motivate, guide people to achieve common goals. Example, promotions, management, sales, and inclusive politics. So that is that. Now we come to conventional. We come to confessional. So, as well, like other types, we're going to talk about the characteristics of this personality type. As we are saying, it's about the conscientious, careful, consecutive, capable, obedient, orderly, persistent, and collectedness. So those are the traits where we're talking about organized, carefully, conservative, obedient, orderly, persistent, and capable as well. So, what are the preferred activities under confessional activities? The preferred activities of this personality type is that routine task, following instructions, working with number of information, office administration work, operating office machines. Those are the preferred activities. So the examples of careers under this personality type is that we're talking about the clerk, typist, receptionist, we're talking about cashier, bookkeepers, accountant, postman, usher, stock controller, library assistant. So those are the examples of careers that fall under conventional personality type. As it says, they prefer routine and predetermined instruction. Rather do tasks and problems which require systematic processing of information using office machines and working in a controlled environment. Includes jobs of clerical, like I've said, one of the examples of the careers is that the clerk typist. Also, secretarial nature, paying and receiving money, operational of office machines, storing, dispatching, as well as receiving goods. So, hope we are still together. Now we come to 1.2, whereby we're going to talk about the step 2 now. We are done with step 1. Now we are on step 2, where it says know more about jobs, occupations, careers, as well as career fields. So we're going to talk about the concept and as well as explanation. So under concept, we're going to talk about job. You know, when you're talking about job, we're saying work you do to earn money. We're talking about work you do to earn money. Work you do to earn money usually needs basic training. Usually need basic training. Example, we can talk about what? Cashier. A cashier. That this is your work you do to earn money. As it says, if you have a job, you are employed and you're going to get paid. That is what I'm saying. I'm saying work you do to earn money. And you need some basic training. Like I said, usually needs basic training. Now let us come to occupation. With occupation, that is a type of work that needs special skills or training. That is type of work that needs special training. Special training or special skills. For example, you can talk about electrician, you can talk about teacher, you can talk about nurse. Now, as it says, this is work that you do and requires special education training or SE. But coming to career now, with career, we're talking about an occupation you do for a long time in your life. We're talking about an occupation you do for a long time. In your life. That is what you're talking about when a career. It has opportunities for promotion as well as growth. For example, a teacher becomes HOD or principal. That is why we're saying it has opportunities for promotion or growth. It says it is an occupation that you have the larger part of your life. It gives opportunities to progress. Like I've said, it has opportunities for promotion and growth. As a teacher, you can become HOD or you can become a principal. Career field. With career field, we're talking about a group of related occupations that require similar skills. We're saying it is what a group of related occupations that require similar skills. So that's when we're talking about what occupation. Example, health field, nurse, doctor, dentist, paramedic. So those are group of related occupations that require similar skills. You're talking about health field, you're talking about nurse, doctor, dentist, paramedic. Those require, all of them require what? Similar skills. So that is that. Now let us move on to a career group and personality type. Step 3. Career group and personality type and the examples. I think I've already talked about the examples of this. Already I've talked about the examples of careers, like under realistic, we've said carpenters, bricklayers, farmers, miners, machine operator. For sure, I did talk about all these examples there. So without wasting much time, let us come to the examples of career fields and their occupation and careers. So as you can see now, we have what? Under career field, we have the agriculture, food and natural resources. Agriculture, food and resources. So occupations under the occupations and careers. When you talk about agriculture, food, natural resources. So occupations and careers are the farmers. What do you about farmers? Veterinarian, veterinary technician, environmental engineering, food scientist, game warden, miner, soil, plant and scientist, and also zoologist. Also, we have architecture and construction. So when we talk about architectures, that's where you can see what the bricklayers, carpenter, crane operators, electrician, air conditioning, plumbers, and etc. But with arts and communication, that's where you can now talk about radio, broadcaster, film, the actors, and etc. You can see them. But with business and finance, that's where you know when we are in the world of business, you're expected to hear about what accountant. You're going to hear about actuary, financial advisors, insurances person, and etc. In the world of education and training, you talk of schools. It's clear that you're going to talk about schools. Either it's primary, high school, university, professors, school social worker, librarians, and stuff like that. But under government and public administration, when we are in the world of government and public administration, we're talking about soldier, city planner, economist, post office worker, meter reader, tax collectors, municipal clerk. So that is the language that you're going to talk about when we are in the government and public administration. What about when we are in the health science world? We think of nurses, doctors, dentists, optometrists, pharmacists. That is that. Hospitality and tourism, that's when you're talking about the bartender, burger, chef, tour guide, interpreter, translator, and travel agent. But with human sources, with human services, that's when you're talking about marriage counselor, sociologist, child care workers, the priest, the hairdressers, funeral director, and stuff. Information technology, IT. So with IT, you're talking about systems engineer, software engineer, IT analysis, web administrator. That is the language that you're going to talk about. That is the, um, the careers. But law and security, you're talking about lawyers as our occupations, attorney, police officers, legal secretaries, firefighters. But manufacturing, we're talking about people who are going to install, like in TV installer, locksmith, medical appliances technician, boiler maker. Those ones they do what? They manufacture. Marketing and services. Cashier, marketing manager, sales representative, market research analyst. Now coming to the science, technology, and engineering, mathematics. That's what we're talking about aerospace engineering, architecture, transportation. But transportation, we're talking about aircraft engineering, motor mechanic, air traffic controller, bus driver, pilot, sailor, ship loader, and that. So let us move on to 1.3. Let us be on 1.3, where it says step 3. We are on step 3. Know the requirements of National Curriculum Statement, NCS, National Curriculum Statement. So to qualify for a national certificate, candidates should offer a minimum of 7 subjects as follows. 2 official language, at least 1 home language level. So they're saying you have to have 2 official language. 1 must be a home language level. 1 must be home language level. So from there, we can talk about mathematics, literacy or mathematics, life orientation, a minimum of 2 subjects from the NCS approved subjects. NCS must be chosen from NCS approved subjects. Easy, you can talk of accounting, geography, physical science. A candidate may not offer more than 4 languages in the package of 7. is that. Also, there are additional subjects that are recognized for the national curriculum statements. So these are as follows: engine studies, nautical science, maritime economics, modern Greek, sports and exercise science, sports and exercise science from 2010. This may also be taken in addition to your 7 subject. Like they said, although one of these can be offered as part of the 7 subject program, they may be offered in addition to the 7 package. So that's what it is. So like they said, all the subject portfolio activities will contribute to 25%. They are saying portfolio of evidence is what? 25%. What about final examination? For this, 75%. So like they said, practical performance assessment components may contribute up to further 25%. So here they're talking about what practical work may add another 25%. So making the final examination in such a case is worth 50%. So the exam is equal to 50%. So that is that. So level of teaching will be assessed through a combination of portfolio of evidence, prescribed subject-specific practical example, and no external examination. Meaning to say, in short, what we are trying to say is that with this, what you call assessment requirements, because this we can call it what assessment requirement. So we have said portfolio. We said portfolio is equal to 25%. 25%. Final examination. Final exam is equal to 75%. And for practical subjects, that's when you add music, consumer studies. Practical work may add another 25%. Practical work 25%. Exam, so it means, like they've said, the final examination in such cases is what? 50%. So we're not talking about the exam is equal to 50%. Now we come to a pass requirement. Pass requirement. In order to qualify for national certificate, a learner must have a minimum of 3, that is 40% or more in 3 subjects. And one of the 3 subjects must be an official language and home language level. So a minimum rating 2, that is 40% or more in other 3 subjects. So that is that. Whether we are saying 40% or more, level 3, in at least 3 subjects, and 1 must be home language. That's what we're told. That's what we're told here, that it's a very note that we have to take it into consideration. We are saying 40% or more. Again, then we're talking about the level 3 in at least 3 subjects. In at least 3 subjects. And one must be what? And one must be home language. And one must be home language. And 20%, 30% or more that's going to be what level 2 in 3 other subjects. In 3 other subjects. You must pass home language at 40%. So you have at least pass home language. Home language at 40%. So let us start. So, like they have said, in order to qualify for entry into further study at the higher certificate level, learner must pass the NCS, meet the language requirements for further study at South African institution. Namely, one of the 2 official languages offered by learner must be either English or Afrikaans. So to meet language criterion to qualify for entry to study at the tertiary education institution, the learner must either English, Afrikaans at least first additional at 30% or more. So that is that. So let us move on. So here we are. Here where it says in order to qualify for entry, let us study at the diploma level. A learner must pass NSC as follows. So what we are trying to say, the learner must pass NSC with what? You are to pass the NSC with 40% in home language. In home language, 40% in 3 other subjects. In 3 other subjects. And it's in 2 subjects. So, meaning to say pass English or Afrikaans with at least 30%. That is a first additional level. So the key difference between diploma and higher certificate, diploma requires 4 subjects at 40%, not 3. Like it says, pass NSC as follows. 1 official language at home language level at 40%, like I have said. 3 other subjects at 40% and 2 at 30%. So meet the language requirement for further study at South African institution, namely one of the 2 official languages offered by learner must be either English or Afrikaans. To meet language criterion to qualify for entry to study at the tertiary education institution, a learner must either English or Afrikaans at least first additional, that is 30% or more. So the key difference between qualifying to diploma rather than higher certificate is that the learner must achieve 40% and more in 4 subjects, including official language at home language level, rather than just 3 subjects. That is the difference that we are talking about. That difference is 4 subjects at 40%, not 3. Hope we are together. So now, in order to qualify or enter for further study at a bachelor degree level, a learner must a learner must have of one official language at home language is 40%. What we're trying to say is that let's say one official language. One official language at home. At home language. And should be 40% plus. 40%. Also, all subjects from the designated list. From the designated list at 50%. Also, 2 subjects at 30%. 2 subjects at 30%. Language requirements. Language requirements, that is English or Afrikaans passed at 30%. So we are together. As it says, pass the NSCS force, one official language at home language level at 40% or more. That is what I have said. 4 subjects from designated list of subjects at 50% or more. 2 subjects at a minimum 30%. Meet language requirement for further study at South African institution. Name will not be 2 official languages offered by learner must be either English or African. So to meet language criteria to qualify for entry to study at tertiary education institution, the learner must pass either English or African at first additional level at 8% or more. So that is that. On designated a list of designated subjects which will be in place for 3 years from 2008 dispose. So these are the designated subjects. As you can see them, where they are. These are all the designated subjects. These are our designated subjects. So let us move on to a note. This note that is given, as it says, in respect of music, it is the only certificate music course that is considered designated subject. That's what you're told. They say, in respect of music, it is only the national senior certificate music course that is considered designated. At this stage, no other music courses are considered designated. They are recognized as a NSC subjects, but are not considered to be designated for the purpose of qualification for degree studies. Non-designated subjects may contribute toward the admission points score APS and may be recognized as an institution of faculty specific entry requirement. Learners must check their results at the specific institution requirements for the course of study they wish to follow. So that is that. We are together. Now we are here. A very important note again. As it says, specific institution programs may have special language requirement, a specific level of performance in life education or Verify appropriate combinations of performance listeners, certificates, certificate subjects, and levels of achievement. Learners must check the results specific institutional requirements for the course of study they wish to follow. Now come to live domains. Come to live domains. Come to live domains. So with live domains, describe different parts of your life that influence you and choices you make. That's what we mean when we're talking about what? The life domains. We are talking about what? Different parts of your life. Life domains describe. Describe um, influence who you are. Influence who you and choices you make. The choices you make. That's what you're talking about life domains. So being means who you are, like I've said. So being who you are, we're going to talk about what? Physical being. We're going to talk about physical being. So under physical being, we're talking about health, nutrition, exercises, hygiene, clothing, physical appearance. Also we have psychological being, mental health, thinking, feelings, self-awareness of people. Spiritually, that's when your views, morals, uh, when you about morals, we say rules on how to act and behave, and spiritual as well as religious beliefs. So now let us move on to becoming. Becoming what you want to achieve, what you do to achieve goals. So like it says, what you do to achieve goals, and which is becoming who you want to be. So we're first going to start by practical. First we'll talk about practical becoming. So here we're talking about the daily actions that keep you functional. We're talking about what? Daily actions that keep you functioning. Keep you. That is that. When you're talking about a practical becoming. That's that. So now we're moving on for what they've said about it. Like they said, the everyday actions you take to live. That is that. Going to school, doing chores, paid, or volunteer work, looking after health, all those things. Like I say, going to school, chores, paid, volunteer work, looking after your health as well as social needs. Now we come to leisure, becoming activities that relax you. This will be activities that relax you. Activities that relax you. So we are talking about activities that promote relaxation and lessen stress. So that's what we're talking about leisure and become. So the examples are physical exercises, playing games, visiting friends, and family, using the social media, spending time on holidays, going on holidays and watching TV and reading books. Those are leisure becoming activities that relax you. Now we come to growing, growth becoming. So this growth becoming is activities that improve your knowledge. So, like they say, activities to promote and improve or keep up knowledge and skills. That is when you're studying, when you are attending workshops, reading, learning, as well as asking questions. So now we're moving on to continuity belonging. That is why right now we are saying fitting in your physical environment and being respected, accepted by your social environment or by the people around you. So we have physical belonging, social belonging, as well as community belonging. As you can see. So physical belonging, you link with your physical environment, like your home, your school, your workplace, your neighborhood, or community. So now coming to social belonging, this you link with people. Okay. You link with your social environment like family, friends, teachers, co-workers, neighborhood, community again. But community belonging, your access to community services. Like you have access to resources and services available to community members, like clinics and health services, social services, employment, education, recreational sport, community activities. So that is that. Let us come to socio-economic factors in its D and career choices. So we are going to talk about financial assistance as well as the explanation because this is all about finances and accountability. So we are talking about a bursary. A bursary is the money given to students who need financial support. Does not have to be paid back. You may need to work for the company later. That's what we're talking about what a bursary. Like it says, it's an amount of money given to the student to help pay for teacher studies. You don't pay it back, the bursary, but you may be required to work for the company who awarded you a bursary. So that is that. Don't student loan. Student loan. So student do not know money borrowed from a bank and must be paid back with interest. Because you've said the money borrowed from financial institution, which is a bank, they needed to be paid back with interest. That is student loan to about. But now coming to scholarship. A scholarship now. Scholarship is money awarded for good performance in academics or sport. And usually that is once off. Some companies or businesses, organizations award once off money grant if a student performs well in a short or in a short performs well in sport or studies. Then we have learnership. We have learnership. So with learnership, you earn while you learn. Study theory plus work in a real role. So that study tells you to earn while you learn. You study the theory at the college and practice what you have learned in a real job. Now come to accessibility. With accessibility says you need to ask yourself many questions to consider. Questions to consider that how close are you to the nearest tertiary institution? Is the college or university close to your home? That is the question you ask. If you have to travel, can you afford the transportation cost? Can you afford transport? That is that. Can you perhaps study this course through distance education? Can you study via distance learning? So these are questions that you are to consider when you're thinking about accessibility. So now we're coming to the impact of income tax. The impact of income tax. Then it says, what is income tax? What is income tax? When we talk about income tax, we're talking about money individuals or companies pay to the government from their income. That is that. Let's say this is tax that individual companies pay for what and earn for their profit. The form of tax people generally do with the concept of tax is normal income tax. That is that. And the Act also establishes a few methods of paying income tax, namely silent paying as well as professional tax. So those are the tax that we're talking about. So now, what is a tax year? Now we're talking about the tax year. So a tax year is 1 March 28 or 29 February. That is why it's 1 March up to the end of February next year. Who pays the tax? Who pays tax? Anyone earning income in the tax year. Anyone who is earning income in the tax year. That is why it is all individual earns any form of income in the tax year are to pay tax. The minister announced this from September this year. SARS will require all those receiving any form of employment income, including those below the tax threshold, like 120,000. So let us move on to who needs to submit a completed signed income tax and return to SARS. Who needs to submit completed and signed income tax? That's what we are talking about now. So it says, where taxpayers receive remuneration less than 120, taxpayers must elect not to submit an income tax return, provided the following criteria are met. Remuneration is from single employer. That's only when you are not going to submit a tax return. Only if your payment is from a single employer. Remuneration is for full year assessment 1 March to 29 February, and no allowance was paid from which pay was not deducted in full with regards to travel allowance. The more you earn, the more tax you will have to pay. That is that. Why do we need to pay tax? Why do we pay tax? Why do we pay tax? Government uses tax for schools, hospitals, roads, salaries of teachers, nurses, police, grants, child grants, as well as pensions. That's the reason why we pay tax. As it says, the government uses tax to run the country and pay for roads, schools, hospitals, pensions, and teachers' salaries. They also pay what grants from tax. So hope we understand. What if I don't pay tax? What if you don't pay tax? It's a criminal offense. Fines or jails. That is why they say it's a criminal offense not to pay tax. If you're caught or cheat, you can get a fine or sent to jail. Who collects taxes? SARS, South African Revenue Service, is the one who collected tax. Like they say, SARS will work out tax on your total income over tax year. Or we are together. Then how much must I pay? How much must I pay? SARS will work out tax on your total income over tax year, like we have said. Is there more than one sort of tax than income tax? Yes, there are several other taxes like value added tax, VAT. Who pays it? Everybody pay 15% value added tax for all goods they buy. When you pay grocery, it is already included in the price. So the shop pays it back every month to the government. So that is that. So here are these taxes that you're talking about. We have said that is a standard income tax employees. This tax is paid by employees who earn less than 120,000 a year. Pay as you earn, pay as you earn. This tax will get deducted from your salary every month if you earn more than 120,000 per year. Debt tax. Tax is paid on goods like cigarettes as well as alcohol. Import tax. It is paid on all these important into the country. Professional tax is paid. This paid 2 times a year. Tax paid by people who do not have the same income every month and year. Example: sports person earning money from his winnings. So that is that. So this is the end of the presentation. Our chapter 3 for life orientation, grade 10. So we are going to meet again with the last chapter, which is chapter 4. Thank you very much for your time. Make sure that you're going to share with others. Thank you.